What's up, y'all? I'm coming on here because I have something I wanted to share. So, in 2023, when I surrendered my life to the Lord, He did so many radical things. I had started reading through the whole Bible, something I had never did before. He just started really revealing Himself to me, talking to me, spending time with me in my prayer time, giving me words of just understanding of the scriptures more, just opening up the scriptures more to me, and things like that. So, I guess for the first 2 years, like, I would get up early in the morning and I would have my prayer time and things like that. But when it first started out, back in February of 2025, the Lord had told me that the use of my phone was offensive to Him, right? And so I thought that to mean that instead of me picking up, which it does mean this, but it was more than this. Instead of me picking up my phone in the morning to check it before I have prayer time and things like that, let me just do everything for the Lord first in the morning. So I would give the Lord my first fruits in the morning. I used to actually get up around-ish, and I would spend time in prayer for about an hour. Then I would take my shower and then spend another hour and a half into the scriptures. So that was from 2023 to 2025. And so earlier in this year, I went on a fast and then I announced being in Zeta, a member of Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated, because the Lord had led me to do so, because He looked at it as idolatry, something that I did not know, right? And so that was part of my surrender, was to release myself or relinquish something that He was asking me to give up. It was really difficult, but in those 2 years prior, He was really showing and revealing things to me that I had no idea about when I joined, and I then followed through and was obedient. And He was gracious to give me the time to really understand, and then He expounded even more after I came out. So I'm sharing all this to say that I realized that it got to be harder for me to get up. I started to really be, especially this year, it started to be really harder for me to get up. I would get up and pray, but I would be really sleepy. I would go back to sleep instead of getting up and getting into my word. So I wouldn't have as much, I would have work time in my word, but not as much time in my word. And I wanted to share this with you because social media can suck out it can drain you of your closeness with God in very subtle little ways. It can drain you of the fire that's building with you in very subtle little ways that you don't realize. So you think like, well, I've had my prayer time, so now I can scroll, or I've had my Bible study time, so I can go check out Instagram, or I can check the comments, or I can see this or that, or I can reply back to everyone, and I can post every day, and things like that. And so I was doing those things, not realizing that those things on all day long basis was draining me of my intimacy with the Lord. And so now I find myself, when it's time to fast on my own, I would be struggling to do it. I couldn't seem to do it. If I was in a group, I was a little bit better, but on my own, I would have struggles doing it and things like that. And so I want to admonish you, because the Lord was showing this to me as to why I keep being tired. The tiredness was absolutely insane. I can't keep my eyes open for nothing, even though I started going to bed early just so it wouldn't interrupt my prayer time, things like that. So I wanted to admonish you, when you're building a relationship with the Lord, be really careful on how much time you spend on social media, even if it's just YouTube or Facebook or Twitter or TikTok or Instagram or things like that. And even though some of those things for my business, I was still using it in a regular way where I was just paying more attention to it than I should have been. And that I realized that when I started pulling back and started scheduling posts and releasing of it and restricting my apps and things like that, it felt a little bit better, but the Lord was asking for more than that, asking me to give up more than that. And so as I tried to do my very best to be obedient in that and still post about my business, you may not see as many things from me, but just know that it's not because my business is going away, or it's just so that I can continue to draw close to the Lord. So if you feel a little bit dry or a little bit distant, or your intimacy doesn't seem to be the same, or you're struggling with things that you normally had good discipline with, look at your social media time, because that could be the thing that's drawing out your intimacy with the Lord.